Hello, and welcome to I'm Sick Not Crazy, the podcast that helps you to take control of your own health and healing. My name is Jennifer James, and I'm a licensed and practicing psychotherapist, here to talk about becoming your healthiest self, both physically and psychologically. As a licensed psychotherapist, I encourage you to seek professional mental health treatment for any issues that you may be struggling with. If you think that mental health care is something that doesn't fit into your lifestyle, there is an option available that works on your schedule. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, a mental health care company that offers 4 ways to get in touch with a licensed counselor: video sessions, phone calls, chat, and messaging. BetterHelp is available worldwide. You can access your BetterHelp therapist from every country, and there are counselors who speak a variety of languages. Best of all, BetterHelp offers you the ability to message your counselors day or night and get replies within 24 to 48 hours, and often within just hours or the same day. To get started, please go to my personal link at betterhelp.com/sicknotcrazy, and BetterHelp will get you started on your healthcare journey. Hello, and welcome back to I'm Sick Not Crazy with Jennifer James, marriage and family therapist. Today I want to talk about the importance of belonging instead of just fitting in. Depressed people often tell me that they spend most of their time pretending to be happy. They feel that they must, that it's expected of them. They say that they're exhausted by keeping up the pretense of cheerfulness, and that it feels like a mask that they wear to fool the people around them into thinking that they're normal. Every time that someone tells me that they wear a mask of cheerful pretense, the Beatles song Eleanor Rigby pops into my head. Eleanor Rigby picks up the rice in the church where a wedding has been, lives in a dream, waits at the window, wearing the face that she keeps in a jar by the door. Who's it for? All the lonely people. Where do they all come from? All the lonely people. Where do they all belong? Clearly, this sense of wearing a mask to fool the world is not new or isolated. In fact, I would bet that we all have done it from time to time. Some of us are better at it than others. Personally, I'm terrible at it. When I try to pretend, I come off as cold and stiff, and everyone knows that I'm not acting normally. Susan David, in her TED Talk, The Gift and Power of Emotional Courage, says that being positive has become a new form of moral correctness. She calls this a tyranny of positivity. I agree with her. Somehow pretending to be happy is seen as better than living an authentically felt life, and people are shamed for being negative or displaying emotions seen as bad. As a result, people walk around wearing happy faces but feeling dead inside. You may wonder, what's bad about pretending to be happy? Isn't that the point of fake it till you make it? The answer is that pretending to be happy cuts us off from authentically connecting with other people. An authentic connection is one of the greatest and most basic needs of human beings. Maslow's hierarchy of needs is a chart which came up regularly in my college psychology courses. Starting from the bottom of the chart, there's the most basic human needs for food, shelter, water, and clothing. Once those are satisfied, the next level is for safety. Directly after basic survival and safety comes love and belonging, including a sense of connection. Connection is not a luxury, something that might be nice to have one day. Connection is number 3 on the hierarchy of human needs. It's that important. However, there's a big difference between belonging and fitting in. Fitting in happens when people conform in order to be accepted into a group. Fitting in is that lonely feeling of wearing a face that you keep in a jar by the door. It's the exhaustion that you feel after pretending to be happy all day when you want to cry on the inside. Fitting in does not fill that basic need for connection. Instead, it makes us feel even more lonely than being alone. Belonging, on the other hand, is the feeling of ease that you have with a trusted friend. Belonging is the knowledge that it's okay to show your authentic feelings, because the person that you're with will understand and will continue to support and love you. It's only in belonging that the basic need for a sense of connection is fulfilled. In order to have true belonging, it's necessary to be vulnerable. And while the idea of being vulnerable may make you so uncomfortable that you immediately stop wanting to pay attention to what I'm saying, please stay with me. This is important. In her TED Talk, The Power of Vulnerability, Brené Brown explains that in order for connection to happen, we have to allow ourselves to be seen, really seen. In order to feel that authentic connection that's one of our basic human needs, we have to be able to take off the mask, stop pretending to be happy when we aren't, and show our true faces. The longer that you've been pretending, the more vulnerable this will make you feel. When I work with clients on their need to belong, they often tell me that the idea of not pretending is preposterous, and that there's no way that they would allow themselves to be so vulnerable. I tell them that the fact that they've had such a strong reaction tells me that vulnerability and the ability to be authentic is where the true work is for them. If you've had a strong reaction to the idea of being more authentically vulnerable with people, the same goes for you. Now, I'm not suggesting that you go around telling your deepest, darkest secrets to everyone you meet. Being vulnerable with people is a process. It doesn't happen all at once. If there's someone that you think you might like to get closer with, reveal something small to them and see if they can handle it. And if they share something small with you in return. If so, try sharing something a little bit more personal, and so on. Creating new connection takes time, and you should only share your most personal stories with people who have earned the right and have shown you that they're worthy. This is the way to build authentic connection with people who are safe. Will there be times that you'll pick the wrong person and get hurt? Of course there will be. However, building belonging in your life is worth the risk. Belonging heals. In tribal cultures, when a member of the group is sick, the entire community takes part in the healing. The whole group comes out and dances around the fire, sings, or talks with the sick person. While these treatments aren't necessarily scientific, people often do get well because the entire group showed up for them. Can you imagine how it would feel if your entire community showed up for you when you needed them? Because so many people in Western culture confuse fitting in with belonging and refuse to take the step towards vulnerability, the power of authentic belonging has eroded. When people are depressed or sick, they tend to end up more isolated than they were before their illnesses, and their isolation makes them sicker. I would like to challenge you to examine your relationships. How many of them are based on fitting in, and how many are based on true belonging and authentic connection? If you don't have many authentic relationships, take the leap into vulnerability with the people that you feel have earned the right to it, and start building true belonging into your life. You'll be glad that you did. Thanks so much for listening. I've enjoyed talking with you. Take care, and I'll talk with you again next week. Thank you for listening to this week's I'm Sick Not Crazy podcast with Jennifer James, marriage and family therapist. Please remember that this podcast is educational in nature, and it's not meant to substitute for medical or psychological advice. To learn more about my work or to contact me, please visit my website at jenniferjames-author.com. And while you're there, please visit and follow my blog. Thanks so much for listening, and remember that you can take control of your own health.